My internet's broken. I worked for 12 hours. I tried to make soup and I forgot to boil the water, but still I managed to put up this video in time. I love you guys that much. So, today we are discussing phase, something that can lead to a lot of frustration if you don't know about it. Now, if you're recording stuff with only one mic, you don't need to watch this video because one mic recordings never get phase problems. But if you're working with two or more, you need to pay attention here. A little physics lesson. Sound is waves. In the air they move three-dimensional in all directions, but electronically when you've recorded them, they're a line and they go like that, like that. These lines tell the speakers when and how to vibrate in order to produce sound. Zoomed in, such waves look like this. Now I've simplified this for educational reasons. If you have one of such waves, you're fine. Nothing's wrong. But when you mix two of them together, you gotta watch out. Mixing is really nothing but adding up the waves. Like in maths. The part above the line are positive values and the part below the line are negative values. So if you add them up, if you add two of these up, two of these identical waves, they become twice as strong because the values add up, which means twice as loud in music. Now this is where it gets important. One cycle of a wave is called a phase. From here all the way to here, that's a phase. Now if you've got these two, they're in phase. They both have the same direction. But if you shift one of those waves half a phase, you get this. And they're in anti-phase, that's what this is called. And the result, when you're going to add them up, is no sound at all because the positive cancels out the negative. A well-known example of this is vocal cancellation. This only works in stereo mixes, so you've got a left channel and a right channel, and usually all the instruments are spread over the channels but not equally, and the lead vocal is exactly in the middle, so it has exactly the same waveform in both the channels. So when you perform this trick I just showed you to shift the wave half a phase, you'll cancel out everything that's exactly the same on both channels, and only the things that aren't the same will stay. So usually that's the vocal, but not always. In the old Beatles recordings, vocals were usually in one channel, so you wouldn't cancel out anything at all. So I guess they should call it center cancellation and not vocal cancellation. In recording, this becomes a problem when you aim two mics or more at one sound source. They both record the same sound, only from different perspectives. So for example, if one mic is further away from the sound source than the other, you might get this problem. The sound of the mic that's further away arrives just a little later into the recording device, so that could cause those little phase problems. You'll hardly ever hear that something gets cancelled out completely because sound in rooms is such a complex thing. You always get reverberations from all directions, so the sounds of two mics will never be exactly the same. But it affects bass the most because that has slow frequencies which are easily affected by a little movement of the microphone. So when you hear a bass drum that's really huge but it sounds like a toy drum, there's probably some phase issues going on. Now there's two things you can do about it. You can do it the hardcore way and just move the mic around until your sound is great and full. I think that's the best way to do it because that's the real natural way. But if you can always find it out too late when it's already on tape or on disc and you're too late, then you should look for a button with a sign like this. That's called the phase button. It puts in a tiny bit of delay, so the phase will be put back into the right position again. And back is your bass! Raven, I'll see you tomorrow.